Well, hello there, and welcome to another episode of Fearless Fridays. Yes, I'm Dr. D, Dr. Dion Parker, the Courage Catalyst, and I'm that hand on your back that pushes you out of your comfort zone all the way into your courage zone. And you know, I love saying that. Well, my friends, welcome to December. Yes, welcome to December, the final month in the year, right? I love December. This is my favorite. Well, one of my favorite months, right? I can tell you about some others, but yes, welcome to December. I mean, there's so many great memories to create. There's so many things that I know a lot of us are doing in the month of December. And one of them might be feverishly trying to finish up the year with whatever it is that you started the year doing, right? I love always asking this question. Are you a starter or are you a finisher? Which one? Sometimes you might ride in between, but it just depends, right? So I hope that you're feverishly finishing up what you started. Well, today I thought I would jump in and talk to you about having fearless conversations. Yes, fearless conversations. I'm going to give you three tips around having fearless conversations. But before I do that, I want to welcome those of you who've never tapped into a Fearless Friday or new to me in general. So I love this topic on courage. My last book that I just wrote is a devotional with videos called From Comfort to Courage. And it's all around really you tapping into your courage. You're building those courage muscles to move past the comfortable or complacent state that you've been in with some inspiration. So you can jump out there and get it on Amazon. I'd love for you to get that and tell me what you think. Okay. And then if you can connect with me on all things social, you'll find me under Dion Parker or hit me on my website, www.dion, D-E-Y-O-N-N-E, Parker.com. That's me. That's where you'll find me. So, got a lot of things going on. I'm so excited. I'm getting ready to do this weekend a countdown to courage. Yes. So, I hope you got your ticket to a countdown to courage. I'm so excited. Yes. And we've got all the things coming. So, we also have a cohort, Girl Get Your Swag Back cohort. If you have not seen it, well, I encourage you to go on out there and see it. Remember, Girl, Get Your Swag Back. It starts at the top of the year, January 7th, with the new cohort. So jump in and get your seat. All right. So I want to dive into this topic around having fearless conversations, or you want to call them courageous conversations, however you want to think about that. Um, I think it's super important for us really to understand the importance of having heart to heart talks, right? With people that we work with. If you're a leader, you need to be able to have these fearless conversations, crucial to the role that you play. And even in your personal lives, we need to be able to have fearless conversations because they deepen our personal and professional relationships. And so we're going to use courage as our compass to these conversations. So let's jump in. I know that there are some conversations that you might be thinking of right now that you need to have. Maybe again, it's you as a leader that you need to have conversations with some people on your team about how they're performing, or maybe you need to have conversations with people on your team to see if you can stretch them a little bit further, or to find out what their goals are, their career aspirations are, or again, to deliver some maybe challenging feedback. But whatever it is, you need to have that conversation. Maybe it's that in your personal life, you need to have conversations with people that really it's been a long time, right? That you need to have this conversation. Maybe there's something that it's hard. It's a something between the two of you that really has not been said, but you need to have that conversation. Maybe it's a challenge. Maybe it's something that you just don't see eye to eye on, but you really need to have that conversation because it will impact the rest of your relationship, right? How you move together, how you talk to one another, all of those things. You need to have those conversations. And so it really does start with you being aware that there's a conversation that needs to happen. And I need to have it now. It's been too long. Time has gone past. We are now being passive aggressive or whatever it may be. Even if it's a conversation that you need to share about yourself, that, there's some changes that you're making and you need to put some people on notice. That's a fearless conversation, right? So that you can set boundaries and help them understand and to how they are to treat you in this season of your life. Whatever the conversation is, you need to have it. And you are better for having the conversation. I promise you that. But there's a way to have fearless conversations. Sometimes we approach conversations with just thinking that we're going to dive right in, emotions and all. And, and that's not the way to have these types of conversations because it will go yeah, it will go wrong really fast. If you've ever tried to barrel into a conversation when temperatures are high, right? Emotions are high, and you've not had an opportunity to think about it and really think about your strategy and plan of how you want to have this conversation. So, if that's you, I really want to give you some tips on how to have better conversations and so that you can be a part of it and then it yields the outcome that you want, right? Because we can't avoid having those tough talks, but we need to have them with a plan in mind. So, with that said, I'm going to give you 3 tips. So the first one that I would say is it sounds really like, yeah, I know that. I know what you're gonna say. I know it. I've already, I've heard that. I've been through several courses and they all say the same thing. The number one thing I would say is that you have to listen. You have to go into a conversation being willing to hear the other person. That doesn't mean sitting there crafting your response in your head before they begin to even get into what they're saying. You already have your response because you already feel like you're right. But if you're going into a conversation saying I'm going to actively listen, I that means to me that I'm willing also to put aside the things that I think I know. That means I'm willing to be wrong. I don't have to be right in this, especially if it's going to yield a better outcome. So, and that's one of those tough conversations that I'm talking about that are a challenge, right? Maybe it's some friction between that. But the first step truly is to actively listen. Before speaking, you really need to hear the other person and what they're saying. Literally listen to understand. I'm telling you, when you do this, it helps you to not only hear the person and what they're saying, but it also builds trust, a safe environment, and it ensures that your response is thoughtful and empathetic. So you really, really, really need to go into the conversation with being able to listen. And in the workplace, you need to listen to the person on the other side of you because they might have a different perspective than you are privy to. And that stands for any relationship, workplace, personal situations as well. Listening is the foundation of effective communication, especially when the stakes are high. Okay? Listening. My second tip to you is choose your timing and your location. Choose your timing and your location, my friend. It is super important that you choose your timing. Now, as they say, timing is everything. You've got to choose a moment when both parties are receptive and can dedicate their full attention to the conversation. What does that mean? That means that you can't go barreling into a conversation when someone you know is clearly annoyed, right? Or clearly distracted because it's not going to go well either way, right? So you need to really pick that timing when both of you are in a space and willing to listen to one another and emotions are not high. So avoid rushing into conversations because you want to get it done, right? And again, the outcome is not going to be what you think it is just because you want to have the conversation. So you've got to pick the right moment. And I also say that you've got to pick the right location. You don't need to have a conversation in the hallway, in front of people, embarrassing someone. You don't need to do that because you want to get your point across. Pick a location that is conducive to the conversation. That's neutral ground if you can for both of you. Sitting beside each other. You don't need to have that conversation, one person sitting on the other side, almost like an interrogation. Make it a comfortable environment if you can. Now, if it's a virtual conversation, I understand that too. So pick your location. If you can do it in person, do it in person because sometimes it gets lost in translation. If it's over the phone, if it's over virtual, it definitely can be done. But I also love having a conversation in person because you can see the person, you can see the body language, and you know how to navigate through those conversations even more. So picking your timing is super important. The right moment, the right location helps you to create an environment where honesty can flourish and both parties are fully present. The last thing that I will say as a tip to you is to speak your truth. Come out from behind yourself into the conversation fully. Speak your truth. This is your opportunity. Don't sugarcoat, don't hide out. They can't read your mind and they should never have to. You need to be honest. This is the opportunity to share what is on your mind, what you want them to know about what's going on in the situation. Be honest. Speak your truth and speak it with compassion. It's so important when you have fearless conversations. It does require courage to speak up. And to speak your truth. When you've already determined that this is the conversation that you need to have, and you've already, I mean, literally, it's been a long time, you now have the opportunity to speak your truth. So, however you do that, really, I mean, thinking about your truth. I know people, some of you are like, yeah, I'm gonna speak my truth. That's good. But again, you need to make sure, even when you're speaking your truth, that you're delivering your message with compassion. It's equally important as speaking the truth. So, using I statements to express your feelings and your perspective goes a long way, as opposed to you blaming and you. No, this is how I perceive it. This is how I see. This is how I feel. This is so not blaming the other person because it will go wrong really quickly if you do that. It encourages a constructive dialogue between the two of you rather than each of you getting defensive. So I want to encourage you to do that, speaking your truth with compassion, using I statements, and again, coming from behind yourself fully into the conversation. I want you to think about that because the other person on the other side of you deserves all of those things. They deserve your full attention. They deserve the timing and location to have that conversation and the truth to be spoken in the conversation. And you do too. So I want to leave you with those three tips as you approach fearless conversations or courageous conversations, however you want to frame that. And remember that this is a catalyst for growth. It really is. Understanding and really, really getting into that conversation allows you to grow and to be better for having those conversations. So don't avoid them. Get into the conversations that you need to have because you owe it to yourself. All right, my friends. Well, I say, let's make this a December to remember. Let's have some fearless conversations. Let's tie up the year with not allowing things to creep in or creep over the whatever, flow over into the next year. Close up your business. Do the things that you need to do. Finish this year strong. But I know that means a lot of you are running out here doing projects and all that. But that also means the relationships that you have on your teams, in your personal lives. Have some fearless conversations. You'll be better for it. Stay connected to me. Again, this is Dr. D, the Courage Catalyst. And again, I'm that hand on your back that pushes you out of your comfort zone all the way into your courage zone. So Go have an amazing Fearless Friday. I will see you next time. Stay connected to me, www.dionparker.com, and make it a wonderful, wonderful Fearless Friday. Goodbye.